Hello, and welcome to A Brand New Day with BTS, a podcast dedicated to bringing you a day-by-day history and song discussion of the South Korean music group internationally known as BTS. In this episode is Jungkook's birthday special. We find out what JK was doing on his birthday over the years, and then we talk about Jungkook-produced songs, Decalcomania, and Magic Shot. First, the news. So it's only been a week since my last podcast. I was going to stretch them out. I explained this last week, but anyway, I was going to stretch them out, do them every 2 weeks instead of every week, except for then I realized it was going to be JK's birthday, so I figured I wanted to do a birthday special, and then I got sick, which was kind of dumb. Anyway, but I'm doing it now. I'm better. Yay! It was just a cold. So, the news from the past week. Not much has happened. It's only been a week. The boys have been busy. V threw the first pitch at the Dodgers game. If you want to see that, it's on all the Major League Baseball channels, the Dodgers social media. They've been posting a ton of stuff, tons of edits. They've got a video out on YouTube of him meeting all the players before the pitch. He did a fantastic job. He threw the ball very well. I know it sounds kind of ridiculous, but it is really, really hard to throw the ball the distance from the pitcher's mound to the catcher in baseball. They make it look really easy, but it's actually difficult, and we managed to do it really, really well. So with his left hand, he's left-handed for the most part. So yeah, anyway, great job, V. Fantastic. Also, in some of the behind the scenes clips, I'm just chatting now. You can hear him introduce himself. His English is getting better. Like, he's doing a really good job in following conversations and being able to participate in conversations. And I think it's the first time, people can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the first time I've heard him introduce himself as Tay in English. I'm pretty sure I don't remember him ever doing that before. Like, we're used to it. We always call him Tay in English. When we shorten his name that way, it's a common nicknaming practice in the English language, is to nickname using the first syllable of the name. And that's not the case in all languages. Anyway, but it's the first time I've heard Tay himself do it, to actually shorten his name that way and pick up on that sort of nicknaming habit from English. Because I don't think that's his nickname in Korean. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong. I know he's called his live stream sort of radio shows Tete FM as like a sort of cute little name for them. And I think that's as close as he's ever gotten Korean to using the name Tay that I've heard. But maybe I'm forgetting a whole bunch of stuff. It's not like I track this stuff. I track other things. If there is somebody out there that's tracking it, I want to know. Now I desperately need that information. So let me know if you've been tracking it. All right. Anyways, I've gotten way off topic. The other cool thing that happened this week that I was nearly like worried I wasn't going to be able to talk about, because I only talk about things that come like that the boys officially post or that come from the company. I don't talk about anything unofficial. But last week, a tattoo artist in LA posted a selfie with J-Hope, and it was a mirror selfie. And in the mirror selfie, you can see that Hobi had possibly a new tattoo above his knee. But then the tattoo artist deleted the photo. So I'm like, oh no, like, is this something J-Hope didn't want out there? Can I not talk about it because it's super cool? But just last night, or yesterday for him, from when I'm recording this, J-Hope posted a dance challenge to Cordis's song Go, which is a really good song. If you haven't checked out the new kids, the new group with Big Hit, they're doing really well. I really like their sound. And they're all babies. They're very cute. But yeah, and they got a documentary coming out next. Anyway, off topic. But check them out. It's good music. But J-Hope posted a dance challenge video to their song Go, and in short shorts. And he has his new tattoos out, and they're actually 3 tattoos on his legs. On the right leg above the knee, it says I'm your. And on the right leg below the knee, it says you're my. And then on the left leg above the knee, it says hope. So he's got I'm your hope, you're my hope tattooed on his legs now. So yeah, that's super cool. I would never have bet, like if somebody had asked me to like bet on who the next multi-tattoo member of BTS would be, I don't know if I would have picked J-Hope. Like, but now who else would I have picked? If you had phrased it as one of the other members has gotten multiple tattoos besides just the seven, and it's not JK and it's not Jimin, who would I have picked? I would have been surprised, I think, if it was anyone. Now, I know there's some speculation that Yoongi got a dot tattooed on his finger, but that's a dot. I don't know if I count that. But yeah, like I would never have anyway. It's a moot point, but I'm surprised, but it's also super cool. Like, yay, J-Hope, go you, as someone with multiple tattoos. I just think it's really fun when people get them. What else? JK went live from his house in Korea, and V ended up joining him for a little bit. They were mostly talking about working out. The new thing they're all interested in post-military is fitness, which is great for them because it's always good to be more interested in fitness as you age. And so, yeah, so they're gym bros. They were having their gym bro conversations. And then JK hopped on a treadmill, and V had a snack, and then that was it for the live. But we got to see a bit more of JK's house that he showed us, which is it's a very cool house that he had custom built. It's kind of astounding. It's so JK personality. Like it's all black. It's all very low stimulation, which I just think is amazing, like an amazing decision on his part, given that his life is so high stimulation when he's at work. Like if you just think of like camera flashes, colorful MV sets, constantly on the go, performing for crowds, like having all that noise and sound and lights and all that sort of stuff come at you. And then you get to go home into this like dark, soothing, cave-like house where it's just you and your black clothes. And it just seems like he's really looking after himself, even though, like, for a lot of us, we look at that house and we're like, oh my God, like, this house is like the Bat Cave. It's like, it was so outside of what we think of like a cozy home is. But for me, it just completely makes sense why he would design his house that way. And I think it's brilliant. And that he had the money to do that. And then he just went for it and he didn't think, like, oh, I should make this house look like a show home, which, according to Yoongi, that's what his house ended up looking like because his dad decorated it. So it just looks like a show home. And we've never seen it, of course, but we just have to take his word for it. And that's cool, you know, if you are, especially if you're Yoongi and you're into architecture and design and stuff like that, a show home might actually like be relaxing for you. But for me personally, I totally get what JK intended for his house, in my opinion. I mean, my belief is I totally understand what he's going for, and I just love the fact that he did it. And he's just like, never mind what anybody else thinks of this. This is what I need. This is what I'm doing. So he's got his like dark cave of a house, and it's brilliant. I would never be able to get out of bed in that house. It'd be so low stimulation. I'd just be like, I live in bed now. I would need like blinds or something to automatically open in the morning in order for me to get some sunlight and realize that there's a world that I have to join. Otherwise, I would just stay in that place all the time and never leave and just have the most relaxing life possible, but with no interaction to the outside world at all. I just forget the outside world existed in there. Anyway, social media posts. V's been posting his compost coffee ads, other photo shoots he's done. Jin's been slowly catching up with tour pictures. I think the last ones he posted were Amsterdam day 1. I don't know if he's ever going to post day 2. We'll see. Oh yeah, the other thing is that the boys, I mentioned that JK did a live from his house. That sort of indicates all the boys are now back in South Korea. I would imagine they're catching up with family and friends for a little bit and then getting back into album production. But we'll see. End of news. This day in BTS history, September 1st. or Jungkook's birthday. So let's start on September 1st, 1997, when I had just gotten back from a camping trip with my dad to discover that Princess Diana had been killed over the weekend. It was a shock. Anyway, the other big event, completely unannounced on national radio, was the fact that in Busan, South Korea, Jungkook was born to a loving, artistic family. Now, let's jump forward. September 1st, 2011. Jungkook has his first birthday in the dorms. He turns 14. September 1st, 2013. Jungkook's first birthday after debut. He turns 16. He spends it getting pranked by the boys as they film the Oh Are You Late 2 concept trailer. I talked about it a little last episode, but basically they prank him by making him feel like he's messing up and everyone is mad and disappointed in him. And then, surprise, he's actually perfect and they all love him immensely. BTS's Twitter account is full of them wishing JK happy birthday with selfies, photos of his cake, Jin promising to always be by his side, and JK tweets his own photo thanking his brothers and army. They also have a performance of No More Dream at the Incheon Korean Music Wave concert. September 1st, 2014. On JK's 17th birthday, Twitter once again fills with birthday messages, photos, and well wishes from his older brothers. JK responds that he loves them. Jin cooks him seaweed soup at 3 or 4 a.m. because it's the only time he had to do it. That day, Jimin is on Super Junior Kiss the Radio. Then they film Arirang Simply K-Pop, Naver Starcast, and the Bangtan Bomb. BTS and Naver Starcast, Bangtan Bomb, BTS's trip to Namhanseong Summit Self Camp. Jin also writes a lovely letter to Jungkook on Fan Cafe. In the letter, he writes, Jungkook, hi, this is Hyung. You're doing good, right? Right? You're by my side and it looks like you are doing well. How was it? Was the seaweed soup that this Hyung made delicious? I'm not exactly forcing you to say it was delicious, but when I ate it, it was delicious. That's right, Jungkook. You know that this Hyung cherishes you, right? Keep up being the way you are like now. And as much as this Hyung cherishes you, I would like you to trust this Hyung more and take those steps to come closer to me. Right? Yes. You know what I'm saying. I believe that you know what I'm talking about, because you are a lovely younger brother. We are close now, but let's become closer going forward. Love you, Jungkook. September 1st, 2015. On Jungkook's 18th birthday, BTS do a V-Live. The V-Live is filmed by Suga and Jimin holding the camera in turns. They're celebrating JK with cake and declaring what they're giving him. Again, Twitter is very active. Twitter now has video, so Jimin tweets videos while sitting next to Jungkook, asking Jungkook what he wants to eat, do, and what he wants as a gift. And then a final video of Jimin asking for a kiss on the cheek. JK films a log. He had dinner with the members and his parents the day before. He's happy to be an adult now so that he can hang out with his older brothers even more. RM also takes time to recommend the song Florasia by Taylor McFerrin. September 1st, 2016. On his 19th birthday, JK releases the cover of Justin Bieber's song Purpose. BTS are actually currently in the Philippines. When Twitter lights up with birthday activity, Jimin tweets a video of them all celebrating JK's birthday there. In true Namjoon fashion, when RM tweets his happy birthday photo of Jungkook, it's Jungkook as seen through his Pokemon Go game. September 1st, 2017. BTS are rehearsing on Jungkook's 20th birthday to perform with Sao Taiji. The concert is the next day. Hobi gifts Jungkook a small camera. Jimin handles all the Twitter activity since everyone is so busy with both Sao Taiji and their upcoming Love Yourself Her comeback. September 1st, 2018. BTS are at MBC Show Musicore on Jungkook's 21st birthday, promoting Love Yourself Answer. You can see the celebrations backstage in the Bangtan Bomb, JK's surprise birthday party, and the day when Kim Yeontan came to the broadcasting station. Jimin gifts JK a new black camera bag because his old one offends Jimin's sensibilities with how run down it is. JK himself is fairly subdued this birthday, but with the music show schedule being what it is, I think he's just exhausted and would like to take a nice long nap for his birthday. September 1st, 2019. BTS are still on vacation that they started mid-August, so everyone is doing their own thing without any official schedules. They still light up Twitter to wish JK a happy birthday, however. Jimin flies back to Korea from his own personal travels, arriving at 9 or 10 p.m. and going straight to JK's house to join Hobi in celebrating JK's birthday. RM is in Europe, specifically Vienna, traveling to Copenhagen that evening. You can see parts of his trip in his vlog RM 9-day-long Europe travel log on either the Bangtan TV YouTube channel or the Bangtan Subs YouTube channel, depending on your subtitle needs. Suga is in Korea working on his album D2. On the 1st, he's finishing mixing Moonlight, Hansol, and What Do You Think? The other momentous thing about JK's 22nd birthday is that it's when he releases a portion of his demo for Decalcomania. So let's just make a note of that because I'm going to come back to it in a minute. First, let's continue going through the years. September 1st, 2020. At age 23, JK earns his first Billboard #1 debut with BTS and the song Dynamite. Tweets that day were a mix of happy birthdays and also celebrating tears and disbelief at the achievement. Once they go into the office for the day, they record the skit that will appear on the album B in November. You can also watch other parts of the conversation in the Bangtan Bomb Billboard Hot 100 #1 skit recording sketch, which was released for the 2024 BTS Festa. They have dance practice that day where they're working on No More Dream for the Map of the Soul 1 concert in October. You can also see parts of this day in the docuseries BTS Monuments Beyond the Star, Episode 4. BTS also do a V-Live celebrating JK's birthday and also the #1 debut, which you can watch on Weverse now. September 1st, 2021. JK does a V-Live late on August 31st that goes past midnight, so he's live with ARMY when he turns 24. J-Hope drops by at midnight with a second cake. This is the live where Jungkook rediscovers the BTS song Heartbeat, which he had completely forgotten about. Yoongi kicks off wishing Jungkook a happy birthday on Twitter, with mentioning that it's now been 10 years of him wishing JK a happy birthday, and time is weird. The rest of the members also wish JK a happy birthday, with RM signing his as school principal, which is what JK had called him on the V-Live when referring to his enmant speeches at concerts. September 1st, 2022. Sexy Nukem by Bombing Tiger featuring RM is released on Jungkook's 25th birthday. Now that everyone has their Instagram accounts, the birthday wishes take place there instead of on Twitter, except for J-Hope and Yoongi, who stick with the Twitter tradition for one more year. Jungkook once again goes live for his birthday, this time with surprise Tipsy Jin, who stopped by to drop off grapes from his uncle's farm and decided that since he's there, he should bring out the cake and then decorate it with grapes. And it's pure chaos while Jungkook tries to keep it together and then make sure that his eldest brother gets into the car waiting for him downstairs and doesn't try to sleep on his floor. September 1st, 2023. On Jungkook's 26th birthday, he's hard at work practicing the choreo for 3D. You can see parts of the practice in Jungkook's 3D featuring Jack Harlow promotions sketch. He goes out for a meal after the practice, likely with the dancers, and then when he gets home, he goes live again. It's a shorter live because he's sleepy, so he closes with a magic trick and then says goodbye. The boys, of course, are all on social media wishing him happy birthday. Jimin attends a Dior event in Seoul and then does his own live after. He claims he hasn't been doing much of anything, hasn't left the house in 2 weeks, and only runs by the river in the middle of the night when there's no one else around. Though sometimes he runs into RM. Jimin shows us his new mood light as well, which projects the planets and space onto his ceiling. He says his friends were appalled that a grown man in his 30s would have a mood light, but Jimin thinks it's really pretty. September 1st, 2024. Most of the boys, including JK, are enlisted on his 27th birthday, but J-Hope and RM managed to post him well wishes on Instagram. JK posts on Weverse thanking ARMY for the birthday wishes and says that he's doing well. Jin is busy filming Keon's Bizarre B&B for Netflix. It's day 6 for him there. He kayaks to pick up a guest at the docks. He stages a catch for dinner, and he boxes with the guests as well. Meanwhile, in North America, Megan Thee Stallion announces she'll release Never Play featuring RM on September 6th. And that brings us to this year when JK is turning 28 and is a free man yet again. And as I mentioned in the news, he's just returned to Korea from LA where they were working on the album, and hopefully he's spending time with his friends and family on his birthday since he's back home for it now. Song discussion, Decalcomania. 2 song discussions today, because I wanted to talk about Decalcomania, which is arguably JK's first solo written and produced demo for what would have been his mixtape, but it's a very short song, so I figured I'd do Magic Shop as well later. So let's begin with Decalcomania. As I mentioned, he released a snippet of it on September 1st, 2019. At the time, BTS were on vacation, and with JK largely hanging around Seoul, he may have had time to work on his own music. Jungkook had been talking about putting together a mixtape for a while. Ever since J-Hope released Hope World in 2018, Jungkook wanted to be the next to put out a mixtape. Of course, by the time RM put out Mono in late 2018, it hadn't happened yet. But throughout 2019, Jungkook was committed to the task. When they filmed Season's Greetings 2020, likely in very early August 2019, RM gave Jungkook an award certificate preemptively for finishing the 2 songs that JK had already played for RM and releasing the mixtape. RM hoped that it would encourage JK to actually finish. With the release of the Decalcomania demo, it seemed to be an imminent project. Instead, talks of mixtapes slowly died down, and finally in August 2021, JK let ARMY know over a fan meet Zoom call that he had actually erased a lot of the files that he had originally made for his mixtape, including Decalcomania. So, what happened? First, we can't be certain when exactly BTS started planning for Chapter 2, but it was definitely in the works by the fall of 2021, with the boys likely only delaying in the hopes that they could have a few last final stadium shows with ARMY before enlistment. But that was 2021. What happened in 2020? Let's go back to the fall of 2019 first, when JK seemed the most prepared for a mixtape. Obviously, with the Map of the Soul 7 prep and comeback taking up fall of 2019 and first 2 months of 2020, JK likely didn't have time to finish the mixtape and coordinate the release. And then, of course, the pandemic happened. BTS's plans abruptly changed. No longer going on tour, they had to think of other projects to do as a group, and the B album was suddenly in the works. That summer, as they practiced Dynamite Choreo, a song meant to be the final song on JK's mixtape suddenly made its way onto the B project. Originally written likely for JK alone and in English, it was changed into a unit song for JK, RM, and Jin, and the lyrics altered to Korean. This is how we got the song Stay, an EDM-style hype concert track, the kind you can jump around to at a stadium. But that wasn't the first song from JK's mixtape to be released in a different form. Your Eyes Tell, a Japanese track released in July 2020 as an OST for a film, was also a track pulled from JK's mixtape and reworked to be a full BTS song. It appears on BTS's Japanese album Map of the Soul 7, The Journey. It's a rich, sentimental vocal track. So, by the end of 2020, we had gotten 2 of JK's mixtape songs, albeit in slightly different forms. My theory is that at that point, BTS were already planning out Chapter 2, with the idea that mixtapes would become official solo albums in the future, with Hobi, who was the most advanced in preparing for the concept of Jack in the Box, going first. As I talked about last week with Layover, my theory is that it's very different emotionally to release a free mixtape on SoundCloud than it is to release an official solo album. Even though their past SoundCloud songs have now been released officially on streaming platforms along with their newer solo work, there wasn't a hubbub made about it. They weren't reviewed in the press. They weren't presented as songs for general public consumption the way the debut albums were. When Jungkook eventually did release his solo album after taking some much needed time off to relax and contemplate what direction he wanted to go in, he chose to have an album written for him by other producers and lyricists. A commercial pop album that was in the style of the commercial pop albums that Jungkook has always loved. When asked why he didn't write his own album, Jungkook explained it very well to ARMY in his November 3rd, 2023 live. He doesn't feel that he has anything to say to the general public, nor does he care for the general public to sympathize with his story. When he writes a song with something to say, he wants to write it only for ARMY, a conversation just between himself and his fans. This is why all the songs he writes ends up turning into fan songs. even if he's frustrated and so desperate that he's going to die, he's not making that frustration into a pretty song for the general public. But he would want to release a song to express those frustrations to ARMY only. And if we look at the songs JK has written, not only do we see the tendency towards fan songs reflected, as we'll talk about when I talk about Magic Shop in a minute, but, and this is my personal opinion, we also see that Jungkook's writing strengths might not be in the genre that he wants to be known for. JK has given us two types of songs when he produces: slow, sentimental fan songs, or hype EDM tracks that are also fan songs, but clearly made for jumping around in a concert and not for radio play. Whereas the songs that JK hires outside producers and lyricists for are commercial pop hits. The image that JK wants to present to the general public is an international pop star. JK, as a producer and lyricist, isn't an international pop star. He's either writing sentimental ballads or fan song party tracks, and not anything in between. So now that we've talked about why JK never released his mixtape and how that ties in with the image that he wants to present to the general public, let's talk about the Decalcomania demo and why it never saw the light of day outside of a spontaneous release on Twitter. Let's start with the title. Decalcomania is an art technique where engravings and prints can be transferred to other things. It's where we get the word decal from, or decal. You're transferring a piece of art onto another surface. I should just note here briefly, I keep saying Decalcomania. In the song, JK pronounces it a little bit different. He kind of says Decalcomia. It's just a difference of pronunciation. Decalcomania, the song, is in English. It's a deeply personal track about the difference between Jungkook's stage persona and himself. We only have the first verse and the chorus of the song, but let's go through them. And just before I go through them, if you're wondering, Alex, this song's never released, how are you listening to it? The internet's forever. JK released it on Twitter. You can find lyric videos of it on YouTube. You can find it out there. Just search JK Decalcomania on YouTube and it will come up if you want to give it a listen. Or I have a playlist on my YouTube channel and it will be listed in there as a song I discussed on the podcast. Let's go through the first verse. JK begins, "When I see you smile on the screen, you're good at everything. You're just perfect. Feels like I've never been you." These first 4 lines paint the picture of what it's like for Jungkook to observe his golden maknae persona from outside. Jungkook was nicknamed Golden because he's good at everything. However, Jungkook, like most people, has only ever viewed himself as a deeply flawed individual who could do better. In the same Weverse Live where he talked about hiring outside lyricists, one of the reasons he gave was that they're so much better than him anyway, so why would he bother trying if they'll just have to fix his poor attempts? Jungkook can recognize that the Golden nickname doesn't match this perception of himself, but from his point of view, that is because everyone else is falling for a persona, rather than the idea that he's the one that's perhaps wrong about his own talents. Jungkook continues, "Do you even see me? Do you know who I am? Or how do I look now? You don't like me like that." There's 2 ways to interpret these next 4 lines. Up until now, the you has been Jungkook's stage persona. So it could be Jungkook asking his stage persona if the persona even knows the human that's portraying him. Or the you might have switched to ARMY. Does ARMY see past the persona? Do they know who JK actually is? JK seems sure that if they could see him for real, they wouldn't like him. He continues, "Come and tell me so much, you beautiful heart. Oh, I'm going to listen to you, please." Again, the ambiguity of who has the beautiful heart. But whoever they are, JK wants desperately to listen to whatever they have to say. And then we get a glimpse as to what fame means for JK. In the lyrics, "All the numbers too big, can't get out of your game. Oh, I want to paint it like you, please." Whether he likes it or not, this persona has garnered Jungkook worldwide fame, to the point where the numbers are a crushing burden, and he can't escape it now. So what choice does he have but to continue painting it like his persona? The chorus only reinforces this. "I want to be your decalcomia. I want you. I want to be your decalcomia. I want you." There's a painting of JK on the stage. JK would like very much to transfer that painting onto himself offstage too. How he would have ended this song, we don't know. But to me, Decalcomania is both a brilliant example of JK's songwriting abilities, honesty, and lyricism, even in a language he doesn't speak well, and also the perfect example of why JK has other people write for him when releasing albums to the general public. Decalcomania isn't a pop song. It's a heartfelt confession of inadequacy and longing for that pop persona to be a reality. Instead of reinforcing the image of a global pop sensation, Decalcomania undoes it completely. And I don't think pre-enlistment Jungkook was ready to do that publicly, and that's why we never got the full Decalcomania and we never got the mixtape. Song discussion: Magic Shop. Let's get into Jungkook's self-proclaimed specialty when it comes to producing, the fan song. Magic Shop was released on May 18th, 2018 on the album Love Yourself Tear. It doesn't have a music video, but the concept of a magic shop was woven into their teaser trailer for Fake Love, which describes the magic shop as a psychodramatic technique that exchanges fear for a positive attitude. In the teaser, we see the members' characters from the BU exchange items related to their trauma for items associated more with positive events in their journey. It was also the theme of their fifth muster, which they performed in 2019, with VCRs centered around Jimin as a shopkeeper that provided different types of therapy to a listless Jungkook until Jimin and his team of therapists found the thing that would bring Jungkook back his joy: a pair of big F-off shoes, which is the style that Jungkook favors. And I'm only censoring myself there because the songs I'm covering in this episode aren't explicit, so I prefer to keep my rating PG. The inspiration for Magic Shop is largely misattributed to a particular book, but that doesn't actually match up with BTS's use of the term, nor have they ever claimed it to be inspired by one thing or another, so I'm going to be ignoring possible references. Though I think a good case has been made for the academic paper, The Magic Shop, The Therapist Masquerades as Shopkeeper by Earl Coyle. The day after the Love Yourself Tear comeback, Jimin listed Magic Shop as the newest of BTS songs that particularly touch his heart, the other two being Road, or Path, and Young Forever. In RM's Love Yourself Tear behind V-Live, he says that JK drafted the song and RM wrote the lyrics. JK drops by the live and explains that P-Dog actually specifically asked JK to write the fan song for the album. Specifically that he should start it, because JK alludes to the fact that he has trouble finishing songs. But JK thought he should make it to the end this time, and so he did, and turned in a completed song. It's changed from his initial draft, which may have been made with the help of His Noise. Magic Shop was produced by Jungkook, His Noise, and Adora, and written by Jungkook, His Noise, RM, DJ Swivel, Candice Nicole Sosa, Adora, J-Hope, and Suga. Similar to their last fan song, 2-3, which I talked about in episode 15, we start Magic Shop with JK saying that he won't say obvious platitudes like have strength, but rather that he wants to share his story. RM continues, "Didn't I tell you that we'd win? I couldn't believe really that we could win." His first play on words comes with the next line: "This miracle that isn't a miracle," or "this unlikely miracle," where another way to read the line could make the translation into "the miracle that isn't selfish," meaning it's a miracle that is made possible because they weren't selfish. RM goes on to attribute BTS's success not to themselves, but to ARMY, with the lines, "Was this unlikely miracle really accomplished by us? No, I was here, and you came to me." Possibly my favorite RM line in this song comes next, with, "I do believe your galaxy." And this gets back to one of my favorite concert speeches from RM, from HYYH on Stage Concert, where he mentioned that every living thing has their own galaxy in each of their hearts, and that some people can go their whole lives without realizing that fact. And RM hopes that many people will find their own galaxy and be comforted. He explains, "I want to hear your melody, how the stars of your galaxy embroider your sky." One thing BTS have done very well in their fan relationship, and what makes it unique, is that BTS are as curious about ARMY as ARMY is about BTS. They have a rich, diverse fandom, and rather than being uninterested in it, they're curious to what each member of their fandom is like, what their hopes and dreams are, what they do in life. It's why you'll see Jimin pause on Weaver's comments that he thinks might mention what people are studying in school. Anyway, RM continues, At the end of my despair, don't forget that I eventually found you. When I was standing at the edge of a cliff, you were my reason to live. This song ultimately is about rescuing each other, but more so being able to recognize that if you can rescue somebody else, you can also rescue yourself. If you believe in someone else and their ability to achieve their dreams, you also have the capacity to believe in yourself too. RM's favorite line is what follows in the pre-chorus sung by Jin. On a day you hate being yourself, or on days when I hate who I am, depending on the translation. RM speaks about this line in his Love Yourself Tear Behind. He's clear that he knows what it's like to be frustrated that you're you, and that sometimes you wish you were someone else. I don't know about you guys, but I know exactly what he means. Don't know if it's a neurodivergence thing or just a human thing, but I think all of us sometimes wish that we were someone capable of things we aren't capable of. Capable of being happy in circumstances that society tells us we should be happy to live in. Even something as little as wishing I were a morning person or a coffee drinker. Since our current society is built around being able to wake up early and fuel yourself with caffeine all day, and not constantly want to die while you do so, which is a complete mystery to me as a lifestyle. But it feels like my life would be easier if I were that type of person. The song continues. On days where you want to vanish forever, let's make a door inside your heart. Through that door, this place awaits you. It's okay to believe in the magic shop that will comfort you. Drinking a cup of hot tea, looking up at the galaxy. You'll be all right here. It is Magic Shop. And that's essentially what this song is offering. Not platitudes like cheer up, but instead a place to come to for a break, for a moment to look at your own galaxy and regroup. The call and answer section comes next with the words So Show Me, sung by BTS while performing, and the response I'll Show You, sung by ARMY. And those are my favorite lines of the song, because sometimes you don't need platitudes and a place to rest for a moment is great, but what you actually need is a little challenge. You need to make a commitment that you're going to come out the other side of whatever you're going through. Hobi comes in with his verse, which is a favorite of his too, based on how he put the words on his artist-made merch plant pots, and also how the words come from his liner thank you notes in the HYYH Part 1 album. He begins, like roses when blooming, like cherry blossoms when fluttering, like morning glories when fading, like that beautiful moment. Then we switch to Suga immediately, who comes in with his own confession. I always wanted to be the best, so I was impatient and anxious, routinely comparing myself to others. My greed or ambitions, that were once my weapon, bound me like a leash. Suga has also talked about his greed as weapon turned leash in his heart-wrenching confessional song The Last from his 2016 August D mixtape album. Comparing yourself to others can motivate you, but it can also be your ruin. Comparison is the thief of joy, as they say. Suga continues by reframing what he thought was true. But as I look back, I realize it wasn't solely about being the best. J-Hope finishes Suga's thought with the lines, I wanted to be your solace and inspiration. I wanted to lift your sorrow and pain. Fundamentally, Suga thought he had ambition for recognition, but his actions more prove that what he really wants out of his career is to help people, to write music that resonates with people's hearts, experience, and emotions. And that can be a comfort, like this song or like his song Snooze, which I talked about in episode 10. Suga's greed became a monster or a leash, not necessarily because of the endless comparison, but because the comparison wasn't even fair to what he wanted to accomplish. Even in early interviews, he talks about becoming an idol so that his music could reach more ears. Why did he need those ears? I think the messages he sends out, once he has those ears, tell us everything about his motivations. And that's consistently telling people that they're enough to be loved, that it's okay to take a break, it's okay to look after yourself. Don't let other people dictate your life and happiness. Of course, I'm talking about Suga, and it's actually J-Hope that finishes that verse with wanting to comfort and take away sorrow. But one need not go further than songs like Piece of Peace from Hope World or Future from Jack in the Box to understand that J-Hope shares this view too, that his whole persona was created with the purpose of communicating hope through his music and dance. That fundamentally, he wants to be a positive influence and a source of strength for BTS and ARMY. The bridge, sung by V and Jimin, is absolutely gorgeous, and I love the emotional vulnerability that V adds to his lines, which are, would you believe that I too was afraid of everything, all the sincerity, and the remaining time? Again, I'm going to reference Future by J-Hope, But one of the things that I love about that song and this line are the same, in that this isn't a song full of advice from someone who has it all together. This isn't the millionaire telling you how to manage your money. Actually, let's take this to K-pop Demon Hunters too, because what BTS do best is admit to their faults and fears, so that you know they're not telling you to cheer up from a position of someone who has never not been cheerful. Instead, they're saying, "Are you terrified? I'm also terrified. Do you sometimes hate being you? Same." Jimin comes in for the final 2 lines of the bridge to offer again that metaphorical cup of tea and the chance to gaze at our own galaxies. But this time with the reason why we should be doing that. All your answers are in this place you found, in your galaxy, in your heart. Basically, the reason they've been telling you to have a cup of tea and gaze at the stars embroidering your own sky is that only you can find your answers for yourself. The way to do that isn't with someone else explaining yourself to you, but with you taking a moment to examine yourself and find your own solutions that work best for your unique galaxy. The final chorus differs from the rest of the song. You give me the best of me, so you'll give you the best of you. You found me, you recognized me. You gave me the best of me, so you'll give you the best of you. You'll find the galaxy within you. Again, this is a message that RM has put in previous concert speeches as well. From the Wings tour finale, he said, "Even we made it. You who recognized us will surely be able to make it." Basically, if you can elevate BTS, you can elevate yourself too. If you can make BTS's dreams come true, then you can put all that energy into yourself as well. And finally, we close out the song with the call and answer challenge. So show me, I'll show you. There are great performances of the song out there. They performed it during their Love Yourself tour in 2018, and of course at the Fifth Muster Magic Shop concerts in both Japan and Korea in 2019. BTS will also often just do the call and response portion to the crowds without the song. There's a great clip out there of, I believe it's V and JK, discovering that ARMY always match the same energy they're given. So the clip starts off with B shouting, "So show me!" And ARMY shouts back, "I'll show you!" Then JK gets the mic and sings, "So show me!" all melodiously, and ARMY sing back just as melodiously, "I'll show you." It's really cute. And that brings us to the end of the Magic Shop discussion. Unlike Decalcomania, I'm not specifically talking about JK in this discussion. He produced the song. He produced the music of the song. Because I'm not a music producer, I can't go into as much depth about the actual production of the music in the song because I just don't have the knowledge. But listen to the song yourself and listen to the actual production of the song. It's gorgeously produced song. The music fits the tone of the song so well. It's really beautiful just to listen to. And that's it. If you have any thoughts about Decalcomania or Magic Shop, please reach out. My next episode will be out before RM's birthday, and it will be about RM, and I'll be doing a similar birthday special for him. And the song I'm going to talk about is Come Back to Me from his latest album, Right Place, Wrong Person. And that brings us to the end of this week's episode. If you'd like to discuss this episode, or next week's song, or have a say in what song gets chosen in the future, you can find me on Patreon and Ko-fi at A Brand New Day Pod. You can also find me on Blue Sky at A Brand New Day Pod, or you can email me at abrandnewdaypod@gmail.com. Thank you. Have a good day.